Hey, my name's Sandra. Today I'm going to show you how I made this stand for my boosted board. I'm going to show you how I did it myself. A couple months ago I decided to pick up my own boosted board and, live the dream, because these things are freaking awesome. The only issue I'm having with this is finding the proper place to charge it. I'm finding I'm leaving it laying around, I'm tripping over the thing, I'm stubbing my toe on it, and I don't want to lay it against a wall because I don't want to damage the butt end here. So what my plan is to create a hanger that it can hang on the wall, and as it's sitting on the wall I can also plug it in and I can create a little spot for my remote as well. So let's get into it.
Alright, we're only going to really need two materials for this project. The first thing we need is wood. I actually just used scrap wood that was laying around the house. Now it is important that this wood is strong, so you can either use plywood or MDF or any kind of solid wood that you have. It's really up to you. Now it's important to note that you're going to need 4 pieces cut down to 6 by 11. The second thing you're going to need are 2 bicycle hooks. This is what the board will hang on. Before starting this, I went through some of the pieces I had laying around to see what I had on hand. I measured the width of the wheels on the boosted board so my hanger wasn't too small or too big. I used these measurements to then cut the wood down to about 11 inches in size. Like I said before, we're going to need 4 pieces of this. This probably would have been done a little bit more accurately if I used a miter saw or even a table saw. I wasn't too worried about the accuracy on this project, so I just decided to freehand it. Now you can see that the wood that I have is slightly warped. I just worked around this, but I can't complain because it was free recycled wood. I then took 2 of the pieces to glue and screw them together, one on top of the other. The screws aren't necessary, they just allowed me to continue working on the project while the glue dried. From here I took the other piece of wood and joined it perpendicular to the other 2 pieces we just joined together. I made sure to use long screws and some glue to ensure that the weight of the boosted board didn't pull down too hard on this, causing it to break. It's also important to pre-drill these holes just so the wood doesn't split. And once it was all screwed together, it felt pretty solid. The next thing I did was measured where my hooks needed to go. I did this by lining up my boosted board on the wood and measuring where the trucks landed. By doing this, I knew I was going to get the right spacing, which was dependent on the size of the wheels and the size of the boosted board's trucks. Once I knew exactly where I had to place the hooks, I then pre-drilled the holes and then screwed them in. You want to make sure that you don't pre-drill the holes too deep, or else it'll poke through the other side. Another thing you want to keep in mind is to make sure that your wood is thick enough for the hook to be screwed into. Tightening these hooks all the way will make sure that the board won't go anywhere. I then gave it a quick sand and rounded over the edges. I probably should have done this before I screwed in the hooks just because it was hard to get around them. And once it was done sanding, it was time for stain. I finished it off with 1 coat of dark stain. While I'm doing this, let's talk about the sponsor for the video. Actually, there is no sponsor. Once the stain dried, I then tested it out with the boosted board hanging to see how high I needed to go. I also made sure that I found where the stud is, just because the boosted board's a fairly heavy skateboard. Once I figured out where it needed to go, I then pre-drilled 6 screws to make it easier to level and hang. I also used wall anchors to provide a little bit more support. Do you remember that 4th piece of wood I said we're going to need for this project? I added this to act as protection to the wall from the bottom wheels hanging. And once the bottom guard is installed, you'll have a properly functioning boosted board hanger. So this stand turned out exactly how I wanted it to. It's super easy to take the board off. The remote's conveniently up here, I can grab it and I can go. Another thing I did is I decorated with some stickers. These were the stickers that came with the board. Now if I were to do this again, I would have actually changed 2 things. The first thing is that over time I'm noticing that the weight of the board is pulling down on this top piece here and it's causing it to sag. The way to fix that is to add 2 braces here on each side, and then I'll actually lift it up and it'll put the pressure towards the wall a little bit more. The second thing is I would design it so that the board lies this way versus this way, because I'm finding that it's difficult to get my hand behind the charger and plug it in. Other than that, I hope you like it, and take it easy.